You're watching Hindustan Times in Focus, and I am Aditi Prasad. In a major twist to the Hathras gang rape case, the UP Additional DGP Law and Order Prashant Kumar has now said that the forensic report shows that the victim was not raped at all. The FSL report, which everybody was sort of waiting for, and he says the results are out and the victim was not raped. This leads us to very, very important question. You know, a lot of opposition has already raised the point about a cover-up in the case by the UP administration and the UP police. And of course, on this other side, it is a fact, that it is an official report which is coming from the police. But in focus right now is whether this is actual fact that the girl was not raped, and or whether it's just an attempt to cover up because of the media hue and cry across the country and the outrage across the country and how the opposition has picked up the topic. I'm joined by Vikram Singh, as you can see, former UP DJP, and Sunita. Aron, our go-to person for anything in Uttar Pradesh. Sunita, let me come to you first, or rather, let me start with Vikram Singh ji. Vikram Singh ji, do you find this new twist to the entire saga believable at all?
Aditi ji, I have my own very serious reservations. After the Nirbhaya case, the definition of rape was changed, and changed so drastically that it is gender neutral, and it is not necessary to have spermatozoa in the private parts to confirm and say conclusively that it is rape. A sense of decorum prevents me from speaking out more elaborately, but let me tell you, there is digital rape. There is no need for the presence of spermatozoa in the private parts to prove rape. The prosecutrix and the deceased statement that rape has happened and that the person forced himself upon her. Number two, digital rape and the penetration in itself constitutes the total act and the total crime of rape. To say that spermatozoa was not found, and that too after 8 days after the incident, if the medical is taken, do you think for a moment that that vital evidence would be there? There are so many things that have happened in the last 8 days. It would be unfair even to expect the conclusive evidence of the rape and the horrific crime that happened after 8 days. It should have happened immediately thereafter.
Had he just spoken about, had the UP ADG just spoken about the FSL report and that the forensic evidence, I would have still understood it. But what adds a pinch of salt to this entire thing is that in the same breath, he actually, and I heard his video bite just a short while ago. In the same breath, he says that this is an attempt to stir up caste-based tensions in the state. It really points towards the cover-up. And I will come back to the forensic evidence and some details from a police perspective with you, sir. But Sunita, I really want to come to you on this now.
Okay. Now, I agree with Vikram Singh ji, and it's very rare when press and police are on the same page, because I don't know why, even after a death, the government is trying to deny that she was raped or gang raped or whatever it is. Now, the point is, thrice the circle officer, 3 different circle officers on different dates took her statement, and that's why you'll see that the various sections were added. Like initially it was just attempt to murder, then it was outrage of modesty and under SCST Act, and the third time when the new CO went, that was around I think 22nd, he spoke to her, and after that gang rape was also mentioned. First one guy was arrested, then 4 people were arrested. I personally feel if she has given a statement that she was raped, then I think, and now she's no more, the dignity demands that we do not continue with this type of statements and other things. Why questions are being raised? Because public will not believe it. The way the body was disposed of, the way she was cremated at 3 p.m., the way the entire case has been handled. So I personally feel the best thing to do is to take action, to make our laws more stringent and ensure that action is taken against 4 of them. Coming to the caste factor, I think more than caste, I personally feel that the fact that a girl was raped while she had gone out with a mother for fodder to collect some fodder, and after that, her body was brutalized and she died. I think more than caste, it's her dignity, which I personally feel
It's a more
sticks to her, which is
it's
more
gender.
important
It's
than
gender and also caste.
who
Yeah,
did it.
right.
Yeah,
I
it's more important. Whether Muslim who does it is less important than why it happened and she died
Right.
and what happened becomes more important.
I'll come back to you, Sunita, because Vikram Singh ji only has a small amount of time that he can give to us today. Right now, he has to go to other news channels too. But Vikram Singh, tell us, the girl was raped, strangulated, left paralyzed on the 14th of September. The UP police did not get the girl examined. No MLC was done. It took 8 days to file a case of rape. Yet the cops did, of course, register an FIR under the charges of attempt to murder. But would you consider it a serious dereliction on the part of the UP police that no MLC was conducted at the beginning? And then now coming out and saying after she's dead, possibly cremated, there's nothing left of her body to any forensic evidence left on the to examine, and now coming out and saying something like this.
Aditi ji, there are horrible fault lines in the police response. I'll go even a stage earlier. There's an animosity vivad registered in every police station that identifies every animosity or every dushmani in the area, and a proactive police force would ensure adequate preventive action that the two factions do not come to blows or do not attack each other. In this case, both the families were found mentioned in the Vivad register and the dispute register. The police should have taken adequate preventive action. Now, in this case, the multiple fault lines: number one, delayed FIR. Fault number two, diluted charges. Number three, you add in installments. You add charges in installments. This is not the way how criminal jurisprudence
Exactly.
works. Why the reluctance on your part to add all the sections in one go? The fact goes to show that you were not absolutely tuned to help out the deceased, but you were in extreme reluctance to register the case in the appropriate sections. Medical
Right.
examination happening after 8 days, sending her to Delhi almost when the deceased was on her deathbed. These are indicative of the fact that what proactive and fierce aggressive action should have been taken by the police was totally lacking. It was as if somebody were really pushing them, and then they were putting on a semblance of an act or an investigation. I would say that the investigation should have first have been, and then I said 166A of the IPC has been incorporated to deal with delinquent police officials who in such cases do not register cases but do not take adequate preventive action and proper action. Why has no action been taken against these delinquent police officers under 166A of the IPC, incorporated in the IPC after the Nirbhaya case? This is the fittest case. They could be jailed for 6 months, and I strongly recommend that they go to jail for 6 months, or if not more, and dismissed from service. If they are not dismissed now, then when will be that occasion come when we will dismiss those who showed this level of depravity and dereliction of duty? This is a horrible dereliction of duty, and anybody who condones this kind of conduct is doing a disservice to the cause of policing in uniform.
So that's a very strong statement of strong disservice to the cause of policing in uniform. Uh, Coming from you, I will of course come to the SIT because you talked about punishment for the guilty cops. But in this case, it seems that there is an attempt to just, sort of wave a white cloth over the entire scenario, whatever has happened, and just forget about whatever that poor girl and her family had to endure. The repeated assaults on their dignity, the girl's dignity, first raped, then raped by the system. I want to talk about the hurried cremation, which was done by stealth at the middle of the night at 3 o'clock in the morning. You bring the body back in an ambulance from Delhi to the village. You refuse to let her go to her house. Then refuse to let the parents take her body to the house. The parents, the family of the girl was seen lolling around in front of the ambulance, literally begging the police that please allow us to take our daughter home for a few hours, and then according to Hindu rituals, bury her, cremate her in the morning,
Cremate.
not in the thick of night. why do you think the UP police pulled the stunt that it did? Because that, unfortunately, while the rape has not been caught on camera, that unfortunately has been caught on camera. And that is, again, a serious dereliction of the right way to function, really.
Or an administrative tragedy also. The police cremation never happens after sunset. It is in the rarest of the rare cases, and that is only meant for certain sects of people who are allowed to cremate amongst the Hindus after sunset. Otherwise, 99.9, except Manikarnika Ghat in Varanasi, there can be no cremation after sunset. In this case, what I apprehend is that they probably sowed a wind and they were reaping a whirlwind. The anticipation and the intelligence, as I'm told, was that perhaps if the dead body is not cremated early, then mischievous elements might take possession of dead body and create a law and order and a situation where it could be a major embarrassment for the government. Large scale agitation, stone pelting, arson, and vandalism would have happened. The police would have opened a fire and killing 4 or 5 people, and that would have turned the tide. So everything came into the numerator and denominator of election politics. As you would say, there were political parties who tried to reach out to the family, not because out of sympathy, but to fish in troubled waters. I would say that even if there were compulsions of cremating the body at night, the next best thing you could have done was to take the family into confidence, and they should have cremated the body in your presence and not vice versa. And to say that they were elders of the village are not family. In village,
Right.
everybody.
And you actually shoot a video and sort of the police actually shoot a video of the entire cremation and actually circulate it among people to show how clean as a whistle they are, because there are these people in plain clothes who are cremating the body. It's not the police. I mean, which is really a very very wrong way to go about it. But I really want to ask you one question, sir. You have led the UP police. The opposition is alleging that the orders for what the cops did, which is the midnight stealth cremation, came from the very top. How plausible is that? As someone who's handled the UP police in the past, I'd like to ask you this question.
Miss Sunita Aron is also the best person to answer this question, but I would tell you from my experience as the DGP and as being a field officer, because I've had the maximum duration of field postings. These orders come from your immediate superiors. And in this case of Hathras, the orders would have come from the Director General of the Police and the Additional Chief Secretary Home. It would not go beyond that, because then it is only the chief minister. The chief minister cannot be approached at 12 or 1. Nobody has the audacity to wake up the chief. And this is not the level of the chief minister to intervene in matters, because the first question would be, Mr. Director General of Police, if you don't have the capacity what to do in matters of cremation, if you want me to intervene and give you an affidavit, and I have no such thing, if you want me as a chief minister to give an affidavit whether to open fire or not to open fire, then I think you look for a better job yourself. You don't deserve to be the DGP. So every top executive also has his reservations and his Lakshman Rekha and his limits, how much to ask, and when to take decisions oneself. This decision, I would say, has been taken by the topmost bureaucrats, because there is no political intervention. I would have expected, because this is very disappointing decision. This decision, with any amount of experience in field work and in the long-term ramifications, would never have taken this knee-jerk reaction at all.
Right. Sunita, you're back with us. Sunita had gotten disconnected for a moment there. But Sunita, what Vikram Singh was saying, that this kind of a decision, the midnight stealth cremation of that girl, that the orders would have at best come from the DGP UP, or from this would not be a decision that the cops on duty would be taking themselves, and or at best from the
Additional Chief Secretary Home.
Additional Chief Secretary Home. Would you concur with that comment?
Yes, this can't be a decision taken at a local level, for sure. This is a very sensitive case, and Chandrasekhar, Raman, and Mayawati, and everybody has been very, very active on this. So I don't think so. It's a decision that any officer at the local level would have taken it. Now, coming to what you're talking about, a body, disposal of a body. Now, today's report says that there was just a cut on her neck, and that paralyzed her body. I have a feeling that they were trying to hide the bruises that her body had, because the moment they had given the body to the family, then people would have seen her condition. Right now, we have heard about, everybody has heard about that she was raped. It is a statement. At that time, whether her tongue was, what she had said was that she was brutalized very badly. So the marks would have been there on the body, and then it would have been everywhere. So more than people vandalizing or creating a scenario there, I think it was more to hide something which the government didn't want people to know or have evidence of. Because today everybody carries a cell phone, and if they had seen the body, they would have taken her pictures also. And if she was not so serious, what was the
Okay.
reason that she was shifted to Aligarh same night?
And then to
Huh?
Safdarjung. Absolutely.
She was
And then to
shifted there.
Safdarjung.
Safdarjung.
So
I, I
she
think
was serious.
Sunita is
That's why
having
she was
connection
shifted to
problems.
Aligarh. And
We'll come back to Sunita when our connection is a little better. So, largely, sir, two last questions to you, and I know you need to go. The SIT. I wanted to talk about this earlier, but the forensic report to precedence. The this SIT that has now been created. Now that the UP ADG is saying that there was no rape at all, and the FSL report completely rules out rape. What is the SIT going to do? Is the SIT going to investigate the rape, or is the SIT going to investigate the misconduct of the police?
Whatever the parameters assigned, what are the terms of reference given to the SIT, they will obviously the thing that has happened would include the atrocity, the rape, the death, and the shoddy response of the district administration, especially the police department. They have to be incorporated in the SIT. My reservation about SIT is one thing: there's something known as prima facie evidence. If there is an evidence prima facie that the police did not act rightly, I would have expected a more professional and a swift response against the deterrent, again, a deterrent punishment against those who did not show proper response and exhibited dereliction of duty. They should have been dismissed from service by the provisions of section article 311 of the Constitution of India, sent to jail. The next thing possibly could have done was to create a cell including women police officers to investigate this atrocity on the deceased. That did not happen. You don't require an SIT. It is not rocket science to investigate a thing professionally and say, we will investigate fast forward 24/7 with women police officers as mandated by the Justice Verma Commission, and we will see to it in 21 days, put them into fast court. In the next 30 days, you will see a conviction. You don't require an SIT for that. Thirdly, to give
What I
protection to
what I
you
hear
don't.
you saying, sir, is that the SIT is then a mere delaying tactic by the UP administration.
I think it is inopportune and ill-advised a move. The matter remains that when you create an SIT, you created an SIT in so many earlier in matters. Has anything emerged after the creation of those SITs? To the contrary, there are loud questions, and I would not like to believe what I'm told, that the attempts are being made to dilute the charges against the criminals. Because if your mandate is very clear that you want to get after the criminals, those who are guilty of misconduct, professional incompetence, then you don't require an SIT. I don't need to have an SIT in 24 hours. I can say the chowki in charge is negligent because of poor surveillance, the station house officer because of not taking action proactively in matters of dispute, the station house officer not registering the case, COs for not being attentive and going into thorough and meticulous details. Suspend all the three first. This is what can happen in 24 hours. Nothing like that has happened. Invoke the provisions of NSA and the Gangsters Act. Again, that has not happened. We don't require an SIT for that, Aditi.
I hear you, sir. Sunita wanted to
I,
come in.
I want to add to it. The day SIT started probe, the report has come. They have denied gang rape. The DM made a statement.
Exactly.
The local SP has made a statement. What is SIT going to do now? You know,
Exactly. What is
in
the
fact,
SIT
when
going to probe?
SIT
Because now
had
they're saying
started,
no rape.
exactly, when the SIT had started a probe, they should have waited. Whatever evidence they had in favor or against the claim of the lady who died, they should have put it before them and then let them probe. Now, right now, the family has been there is a clip which is going around with a senior officer threatening father that that media will go away, then we are here who are going to protect you or not
Yes,
protect you. Already there is uh, a particular caste dominates that area, and these Valmikis remain a little, they live in fear.
subdued.
So now just imagine who will go out and give a
Absolutely.
statement in
So they are
favor of the
already they are already being muzzled, the family.
yeah.
And the opposition, we all saw today how, while the opposition is also making the
Aditi,
most
where
and
is the
trying to
case
make
now?
brownie points out
What
of
is,
this,
listen, what is the case now? The gang rape is denied.
absolutely.
There is no case now. There is just a
So,
case of heartbeat
so
and an
basically,
injury on her neck. That's it.
yes,
And
yeah. So they would
that's it.
take her dupatta and strangle her and put it around her neck to do what?
Huh.
I don't understand this
So it will be
denial of
attempt
truth,
to
and
murder.
which
It
is
will be attempt to murder, and now murder. Mr. Vikram Singh knows it better. Initially, it was attempt to murder. After she died, now it has become a murder case. Otherwise, it was attempt to murder only, na.
that's the
So
case that they had registered initially. And then
yeah,
8 days later, they added rape to that case. And now they're saying there was no rape.
yeah. So I think SIT has nothing to do. They'll repeat the same charge, whatever the report has come, whatever the cops have said locally, DM has said, SP has said. What will SIT do? They are not going to say they are wrong now. Now you can't have two voices within the same government. DM, the local person, the CEO, who have investigated the case, who are aware of the facts, who are supposed to give their statements to SIT about the case, they've already made a public statement. So, what is there for them to say now? When they and what is there for SIT to probe now? I don't think so. They should have come out in public, even if they had
Very
some
true.
information. They should have
Absolutely.
waited for SIT to complete the probe, and then
And
you know,
then come out with any statements of this nature,
sometimes what
because now the
happens
whole thing, the sham is very, very in your face.
just because of the pressure that's building up with Rahul and Priyanka and the political voices. But you see, it's not the public, it's not the political voice, it's the public anger that
True.
they must feel. Right now, I keep on getting so many WhatsApp messages. Ladies sitting at home are sending, small, small messages, condemn this. And what has really upset them is the way she was cremated. And now this
Absolutely.
has been that she was not gang raped. If she was not gang raped,
ये
if
जो
there were no
कहते हैं हाँ
marks,
सोने पे सुहागा
marks
ये
on
हो
the
गया,
body,
तुम्हारे अब ये कह रहे हैं कि
what
गैंग
would
रेप
they do?
हुआ.
Why? They should have given it to the family, and in the morning they would have cremated it. The matter would have been over. But it has
Right.
become more complicated now.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. That's all the time we have for now. I know, Mr. Vikram Singh, thank you for joining us because
Thank
I
you.
know we've taken more
Bye
time than
bye.
you had promised.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. We'll keep coming back to you with more. Keep watching HindustanTimes.com. It's sad today that that child who was raped, the politicization of this entire thing. Rajasthan, I had BJP people earlier in the day on my show, and they were talking about citing Rajasthan. Rajasthan is citing Hathras, and that unfortunately, Sunita, is a very sad state of affairs. That gender and caste and the actual atrocity that was committed against this girl, that has taken a back seat, and
Aditi,
everything else,
Aditi,
the politics of
sorry.
it has become
Hmm.
taken front seat, be it from the Congress side, be it from the BJP side. Congress, Rahul and Priyanka immediately dashing to Hathras. It's all politics at the end of the day. But I mean, I have no sympathy with either one or the other side. But what I do have sympathy with is that girl and that girl's family who do not have dignity even after her death.
Yes. Even BJP MLA has demanded action. He has sent a letter to the governor demanding action against the local officials. So it's not that everybody is feeling the pain. And let's wait for a week's time. I hope the SIT will do justice with the girl. We can only hope for that.
What justice? I mean, the sit. There is no
Let's
rape.
hope.
So what is the
Let's
sit
hope.
going to?
Let's hope.
Anyway,
They,
let's wait
yeah,
and see if
yeah.
any action is taken from here forth, and let's not jump to conclusions. And with that, let's bring an end to this. Thank you,
Thank you.
Sunita, for joining
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you, viewers, for watching this broadcast. We'll keep coming back. Keep watching Hindustan Times.